Gruesome Magazine.
Hello once again, I'm Doc Rodden, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Christopher G. Mohr, and I will take a look at very spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're back at Shudder, reviewing Dark Glasses from director Dario Argento. What?
They just paused such a long time there.
It's called dramatic pause.
Okay.
Or pregnant pause. All right. Joining me tonight is Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. And my dark glasses are in my car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Also joining us this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I am great. I'm okay.
Absolutely.
Coolio. Too coolio for schoolio.
I'm done.
Oh, you're
Okay.
done.
Socially
I'm
awkward.
getting worse. Like now I've put so much pressure on myself during the intro.
Don't put pressure. There's no pressure. You just.
There's no pressure.
Hey, I'm doing great. That's all you gotta say.
Also joining us this week, award-winning filmmaker. I'm trying to save her. Award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
It's me, Dario.
Dario. Oh my God.
I'm doing good with my darker glasses in my car, just like Jeff's.
Is your last name really Pratt? So, all right.
Oh no. It's a me,
yes.
Dario. That's my Chris
Yes.
Pratt version of that.
It's a me.
Oh my
Dario.
God. But I mean, it's not. I feel like you got a little bit too much. I mean, it's not that bad.
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about something better.
We are going to review Dark Glasses, which is going to be streaming on Shudder. We're going to start off giving you our first impressions. That will be spoiler free. It's a Giallo film. You know what's happening. Then we'll get into a discussion. We will get into spoilers then. And then we'll wrap things up with our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. We hope you enjoy this review. Not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend. Help us reach the goal of 5,000 subscribers. Only you can do that. So thank you. We hope you enjoy this review. Let's get into the card and get things going. A nice poster. I like that poster. Dark Glasses 2022, available streaming on Shudder beginning October 13th. I like that too, 2022. Synopsis: Diana, a young woman who lost her sight, finds a guide in a Chinese boy named Chip. Together, they will track down a dangerous killer through the darkness of Italy. Directed by Dario Argento, written by Dario Argento and Franco Ferrini. The cast includes, and forgive me ahead of time, Ilenia Pastorelli, Asia Argento, Andrea Gherpelli, Mario Pirrello, Maria Rosaria Russo, Gennaro Iaccarino, and Andrea Zhang. Am I close on
I think that's probably the best pronunciation. I think Italian is definitely it. It's definitely up your alley.
There you go. And Mario. All right, let's find out what our first impression of this. And thank you for the compliment. So you will go first, sir. What was your first impression of the Dark Glasses?
You know, I feel like a lot of people think that Dario sort of like has really sort of lost his flair, I guess, for filmmaking. You've seen a lot of his films in the last few years.
Dracula 3D.
Yeah. But this feels like a return to film, to some of his best films like decades ago. I think it's well shot. It's got some good performances in it. I mean, it definitely has the Giallo type stuff involved with it. And there's a few things that like, what? it ends very abrupt, but overall, yeah, I think it's definitely got that Giallo type stuff. I mean, women in danger a lot, but
yeah.
But I don't know. This also felt this is one of the times where I kind of felt for like the main character a lot, and a lot of the stuff that she's dealing with and situations she's dealing with, and you also feel for the little kid that pops up later in the film. And there's like one moment I was kind of creeped out. I just because it's a certain animal I don't like. But overall, yeah, I really enjoyed this. I actually watched it the secret Shudder screening that popped up on Shudder. I didn't even know what we were watching, and
hence the word secret, right?
Yeah, secret. So I didn't even need a screener. I watched the secret screening. Yeah, so I enjoyed this. I think it's one of his best films. I think it's his return to his heyday. It kind of makes me kind of excited to see what other films he makes. And yeah, it's got some good stuff in it. I mean, granted, there's some times we're like, okay, the logistics of certain things is off, but overall, I think it's a really, I think it's a good Argento Giallo film.
Yeah, because he is in his 80s, so
he is in his 80s, but this doesn't feel like somebody made by a guy in his 80s.
Nope.
This feels like a younger person directed this, and I think that's why it's so refreshing. And as somebody that wants to be making films in the 80s, it gives me more hope.
That's good.
I like that. Jeff, how you doing, sir? What is your first impression of Dark Glasses?
I like this. I actually, strangely enough, we've done several Argento movies on the 80s, like Phenomena, and Suspiria, Deep Red, and Cat of Nine Tails. So I like all of those movies. We have a few more to do in those decades, but I may be subjective, or maybe mistakenly followed what other people have said, about later works, because I haven't seen them, so I don't know. But I do know Dracula 3D was 10 years ago. This is the first movie he's directed in 10 years.
Oh, wow, 10 years.
So, and this really felt to me like a return to basics for him.
Yep.
It doesn't have the push or the ambitiousness of something like Suspiria, but it's a damn fine, solid Giallo film, I think. I like the characters. I like the kid and a dog. You got a kid and a dog. What? And actually, this was I don't know. I don't know, obviously, what it's like to be blind, but I felt like that the lead actress did a good job of portraying that as a newly blind person, was unsure of herself, but trying to be, a can-do type personality, and was making some mistakes along the way. But anyway, was very positive about the condition she was in.
Just don't walk through water. Just don't walk through water.
Well, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Christopher?
I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I thought it was good, solid storytelling too, which sometimes in Giallos it's a little confusing what the hell's going on. But this was pretty straightforward, I think, and I like that too.
Crystal, what was your first impression of Dark Glasses?
I'm just gonna mirror what they're saying. Basically, God, this was so good. I was really, really surprised. I didn't have very high expectations. I do like the poster. It reminds me of They Live. So, of course,
very much so.
But the lead actress is freaking fantastic. Like, when she goes blind, I mean, since we've already know that, she does this little shaky thing. It just, she's wonderful. I loved her when she was, the strong woman that she was. I loved her when she was weak. I believed it. And the little boy, oh my God, he's precious. He's precious. And Jeff's right. The story is very coherent for a Giallo film.
Yeah, surprisingly so, right?
Like a lot of times they have these weird cuts, and they still had some of that, because that's part of what makes it Giallo, but it still just followed a nice streamline. Honestly,
it's more linear than you expected. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's really, really good. I mean, of course, Argento doesn't have as much gore as Fulci, but when there is gore, it's good. It was good gore. So this is a more slower paced, typical, kind of thing. You don't have anything too well. There's a little bit of craziness, but it was very entertaining. I actually just was like glued to the screen. So I don't know if it was partially her. I think she's very, very strong on screen. She's beautiful, but you can even see past that, which is good. Sometimes an actress can be too beautiful, and you can't really like get into it. But yeah, this is really, really good. I can't wait. He's doing a new movie too. I just heard. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this as well. It not only is it a return to form, I think it's also a return to passion. You felt his passion for filmmaking, I think, again in this. So I wonder, there's got to be a backstory about all that somewhere. I wonder what's going on. But one thing that I liked about this was to kind of go on to what Christopher said. You cared about the lead character, but you also cared about the characters around her. And you cared about the characters around her because she did, right? She cared about her friend who was helping her, acclimate to being blind. You cared about the kid who she felt responsible for. And those relationships were built, and that's, to me, I feel like that's slightly unusual for Giallo films. Usually they don't, they kind of just have that happening instead of building it like they did here. So it's yeah, I'm surprised. And the gore, they don't shy away from the gore when they want it. And of course we get all the people showing up around the one at the beginning that, it's like, everybody's just like taking, not helping her at all while she bleeds out on the street. But anyway, this is I think this is kind of, if you've written off Dario Argento, watch this movie. It'll change your mind.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I think I think Giallo sort of gets pigeonholed into a certain type of film, or that it doesn't have sort of like drama or not as serious, I guess. But this I feel like it has that. But also I think that the main actress, her portrayal is this woman who goes blind and her having to deal with it. Yeah, she's upset about it, but she's also willing to take the challenge. Because I love the part where, and actually Asia Argento shows up as a character who's helping her to sort of acclimate to her new status, being blind. And there's a part where she's like, hey, you can use this, or use a cane. Here's a cane, and you see like a little smile come on her face, and you feel her like, okay, maybe I can do this, So, but yeah, and I think, and also you have a character who a lot of people are throwing like insults to because her profession is a prostitute, and she's even trying to work through that when she's blind as well. So I think a lot of other films would just like portray them really badly, but she seems like she comes off as a very genuine and nice person who's not just because her profession is a prostitute. So, yeah.
That seemed particularly scary to me, or.
Yeah, because I think you'd have to have a lot of trust in your customers to be blind. Yeah, especially when you had that one guy who
right.
Her. And I did. I won't say the word, but they even the subtitles wouldn't spell out the full word. They'd call it FF. Well, why don't you let me FF you? And I was like, oh man, even the subtitles was like, oh, this is too much for me.
Somebody's like, I'm not typing that.
What the hell?
But then she says it. She goes, I know what that is, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, knowing that she had customers like that, and also we have a certain person that didn't take kindly to what she said of him. That puts her in a very vulnerable position. But she, at the same time, she talked about, I need to make money and stuff, because she's got another mouth to feed, actually 2 mouths to feed. with the dog. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, but you feel the situation, and even I was like trying to put myself in her position because there's a part where she's like out in the middle of like the woods and stuff. I'm like, oh crap,
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't know what to do.
Horrible.
And there's a scene in the water. I don't like snakes.
And it made it so. I mean, all the screaming and the yelling that they were
went
doing
on so long.
No,
I was like
oh my god!
Because I grew up when I lived in South Carolina. I grew up near a river, and they always talked about stay away from the water snakes and because of water moccasins and stuff. And so I was like, oh crap! I was thinking that the whole time when they went in the water, and it's like, there's water snakes. Oh crap!
They're biting me! They're biting me! Oh my god!
They're biting me too.
To be blind,
Jesus, guys.
to be blind and dealing with that. And granted, yeah, it had that traditional thing of showing snakes in the water and then showing like a close up and showing snakes in the water, but it was effective for me because I hate snakes. So that traumatized me. That scene traumatized me after watching it.
It's like, get out of the water!
Yeah.
But yeah, that actually I think might have been
that was
the most intense scene because of that.
Yeah, but I mean, granted, I know Chris was acting like it wasn't very gory. I think the gore shots it definitely lingers on them, especially when people's necks are getting cut and blood's coming out.
I really just meant like throughout the whole.
Yeah. So it's not overly
it's got
gory.
its moments
because it does focus so much on the story and her arc as a character that it's not relegated to go into every 20 minutes we have to have
nobody puked their insides out or had their eye pierced.
That's exactly
in a Fulci movie.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I meant, Jeff. Like I'm like it's not that, but it has its moments.
Well, yeah, I mean
obviously the end is.
Yeah.
Well,
I kind of like
particularly gruesome.
And the beginning too. The beginning's pretty gruesome.
Beginning's pretty.
Right.
She just
right. And I liked how they set that up because we see that first kill. And then somewhere down the line, not too far in, they say that's the third one, I think. Or there was three before that. I don't remember which. Yeah. But we didn't have to, there's some Giallo things where they go through everyone.
Yeah, we do every single one of them.
Yeah. So I was appreciative of that.
Yeah, and the car chase scene, with the van, because there's a van. We've got to have a van.
Which one?
We have a van and a man. Oh, well, at the beginning where she goes blind, right? So.
Yeah.
And just seeing that kid in the car trying to figure out what's going on with everybody trying to open the door was just like, I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
And then at the end, let's be real, it does have not quite a 70s ending, but it's got a hint because it's not happy. It's not happy ending.
It's not, although I feel kind of bad. But I thought at some point, like her ability to know when things are around her, but I think every time she would touch the kid, she was like,
yeah.
But
wasn't it?
I was like,
where's your head? Oh.
But I think at some point you realize, okay, that's a head, but she just kept doing this like that didn't even look like she even like it was Play-Doh or something. Like she didn't even that was the only thing I think with the acting. I was like, okay.
I guess I didn't think it was that. I thought at one I just thought she was just sort of caressing him. She couldn't look at him.
Weird. It just looked very weird. Her interaction.
Like I feel like she was just establishing the way she's looking.
Yeah,
like a lot of people who are blind do touch someone's face to like.
Oh, I think that's fine, but I just think the way she did it didn't seem like it was even trying to figure out what was there.
She was like making pizza.
Yeah. She was just like, like she was like playing with silly putty or something.
They could have made that exchange in the airport really maudlin too. I mean, I didn't feel like they did that. It was a little more realistic because it's sort of partly awkward, but also very heartrending.
Yeah, it was. I was sad.
So there wasn't like that. The law, anyway.
I feel like
I thought it was well done that they didn't stretch it out and play that up.
Yeah, although I think it just ended in at that weird moment between her and her dog. It just is it there. It's like, oh god, I feel like the Debbie Downer song.
There might have been a little bit of a fade or something they could have done that would have, because it was just sort of like
it ended so abruptly
or something. Yeah, chunk.
directed by. No, but that, well, I guess if you're trying to reach back to the '70s roots, that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah, except that maybe
Yeah.
a hand would come out of the
I
dog.
think-
Or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was missing like the whole like maybe the dog's gonna like.
The killer's twin brother was in the background.
Yeah, you see in the background.
Ooh.
I was expecting something like that happen when it ended. I was like, okay, that's a more sort of like, sad ending, I guess, but not really like. So
It
but
was
just
somber.
ended.
It was just a somber ending. Cause like, come on, she's like, you're my only friend.
You're my only friend. I was
She's
like, oh.
because her friend. Yeah, I mean that was like what a hard life.
Well, yeah. First, Rita, the Dario Argento character, and then they were her only friends once she became blind.
And she did a good job portraying, her grief when she finds her. When she finds
Oh
Rita.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she's like, ah.
But I like that she didn't like sit on that so much that she didn't like waste time getting out of there and helping the boy and shit. Like, well, I mean, there were a couple moments like in Giallo films where they're just like, and it was like they're sitting there too long. I'm like, it's like, do something.
Yeah,
Do
move.
something. But it wasn't like it typically is. It wasn't as bad as it typically is. So I appreciated that.
She didn't waste time with her housekeeper either. It was
Oh,
like,
Oh yeah. It's like,
for some reason, the housekeeper felt like she could
get away
make
with it. Yeah.
mouthy asides when she was blind or something. Or I don't know.
Yeah, she gave her some shit, didn't she?
Well, she was giving her
Get outta
dirty
here.
looks the whole
Get outta here.
time. I'm like, ugh, she doesn't like
Anyway.
you. Mm-mm.
All right, well, let's go.
It's a good slasher mystery giallo. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we'll take that cue and wrap things up. We'll give our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. Oh boy, Christopher G. Mohr, start us off.
Yeah, I think it's Argento's return to form. I'll give it a 3.7 out of 5.
Oh, nice.
I really enjoyed it. I think primarily because even though it had those elements that you normally see with his films, it also had a nice had a wonderful character at its base that you felt for and felt the situation he was in. As for favorite scene, I'm going to go with there's a moment where these two detectives are outside her apartment.
Oh yeah, dang, that was one. Damn, yeah. Mhm.
And I'll have to say that's probably my favorite scene. Is like, ooh, this guy ain't playing.
Oh my God. Jeff, you're up next. Your score and your favorite scene.
Yeah, I wrote down. I wrote down 3.75. I'm tempted to give it a 4 just because I'm so happy that he's
Do it.
got back to the roots.
Roots.
So I'll do that. I'll give him an extra
Nice.
quarter of a point for kudos, because I really was hesitant about watching this. I was a little leery. So I was pleasantly surprised. Favorite scene. I got to take the dog gory dog
So
scene.
all
That
my
was-
favorite scenes are gone now because
Oh my. Oh my.
great, yeah. There we go.
Well, Crystal, you got to come up with a third. What is your score 1 to 5 and your favorite scene that isn't the last two?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Really?
And-
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I love Giallo. Like, I love it. I love it. So for me, and I get it. Not everyone's like a fan, and I understand why they're not a fan. It's a thing. It's kind of weird and doesn't make sense, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And I can just go, okay, it's good. I guess my favorite scene. Okay, I'll say it kind of struck me as funny, and it was kind of funny when he sprayed the dog. When he sprayed the dog, like I was like, is he really? He was spraying the dog because I don't want to say anything because then I'm going to give something away. But it makes sense that he would spray the dog instead of hurting the dog. But
Yeah.
But when he sprayed it and the dog's like, I thought it was funny. It was cute. I don't know. He didn't hurt the dog,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 3.75 is what I have. So I'm going to stick with that. And Jeff, I was in the same boat. I was like, oh God, because Dracula is still stuck in my head. It's a weird praying mantis. What are we in for? And this was, yeah, I was like, wow, this is a movie. This is cool. This is coherent. It's got gore. It's got characters I like. It's nothing new though. It doesn't, break.
It's
any
not
molds.
ambitious. It's just back to solid. Yeah. Right.
And it doesn't have some of the flares that, I personally associate, and I think many others do too, like the Suspiria kind of colors and tones and, the score and stuff. It doesn't have all that, but at the same time, I don't know if it needs that, it's, but I'll shut up. A 3.75. My favorite scene, I was going to go, there's a couple scenes I had picked out. None of you guys picked them, so I'm worried about myself. But I want to go with the first kill, but not the kill. It's just when the people arrive. And it was just like the first couple that shows, the car stops and people get out. I'm like, all right. So, and they're just like, ah, and then everybody else like runs up and they just start taking pictures and and she's just sitting there, bleeding out and choking to death on her own blood. And it's kind of sad because it's also an accurate commentary.
Probably what would
people, because people,
social psychology.
Because it used to be like, people would scream for help and everybody would shut their windows, right? That's a famous New York thing, right? Or city, not necessarily
Kitty
just
Genovese.
New York, but right. But now it's just like everybody pulls out the camera and I'm gonna put this on social media later. So, this world, people suck.
What a world! What a world!
One guy yells, "Call the police!" And then you see somebody in the background with their phone out. But you kind of think, why did somebody? You'd think one of the first people up there would have pulled their phone out.
Well,
to make a phone call.
Well, they weren't taking. They weren't making phone calls.
Yeah.
Not even the couple. Do you think the couple would have done it? The ones that first found
my
them?
first thought would not be to freaking record it. That's all I'm saying.
No.
But nobody went up to like.
Actually, my first thought would be, this bitch was cut. She's about to die. Who did it? Who did it? Are they still here? That would be my
where's the guy?
I'd be more concerned about
immediate in my next,
yeah, first and then call, because honestly, like, if you don't get to safety, then you're not going to be able to save anyone.
Well, there you go. That's our review for Dark Glasses. It's streaming on Shudder, so we know you have Shudder because Shudder is awesome. So check it out and let us know what you think in the comments down below. Jeff, Christopher, thank you for joining me as always. This was a lot of fun.
Totally.
Always fun, especially when we get to review a new Argento film.
Yeah. Every 10 years.
Now we'll be excited about it.
Well, he produced that other one we did, She Will, with
nice.
He also acted in a movie recently too.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but he plays like an older I guess a guy with anyway, but anyway, they were getting raves for his performance in it, so that's
awesome.
Yeah.
Was it Vortex?
Yeah, I think it might be Vortex.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Nice. Okay. All right. Well, let's just get out of here. Say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Gruesome Magazine.